Saigon, which was the capital of South Vietnam, fell to North Vietnam on April 30th, 1975. This was the event that marked the end of the Vietnam War. The city was later renamed Ho Chi Minh City after the Northern Communist leader Ho Chi Minh. The fall of the city led to the evacuation of almost all of the American civilian and military personnel in Saigon. The clip you are about to watch incorrectly states the date in which American civilian and military personnel evacuate from Vietnam. In December of 1972, after peace negotiations broke down, President Nixon ordered extensive bombing of the North Vietnamese capital, Hanoi. The clip you just saw states that by 1972, the U.S. had withdrawn all of its combat troops from Vietnam. If all of the combat troops were gone from Vietnam, who would have bombed the North? Clearly, troops were still in Vietnam in 1972. I feel that the next clip you will be watching, which is from a BBC documentary, accurately portrays the fall of Saigon.
But there are people running everywhere.
It's like when you panic, you don't think straight anymore.
Like ants, they're running all over the place in every direction you can think of.
For 20 years, the U.S. had guaranteed South Vietnam's existence. Now, with their communist enemies massing at the gates of Saigon, the fear was the U.S. would cut and run. At the end of 1974, the communist North Vietnamese army launched an attack on the Republic of South Vietnam. An uneasy truce that had held for nearly 2 years was over. It was the opening gambit in the North's plan for final victory, a campaign to unify the country once and for all. For 20 years, Vietnam had been one of the chief battlegrounds of the Cold War. It was divided into Communist North and US-backed South.
I also feel that the last clip you are about to see is another accurate portrayal of the fall of Saigon.
Saigon was now encircled, and South Vietnamese troops could not move out more than 10 miles along any road. Beyond that, the communists were waiting. Outside the American embassy, the wise, the wealthy, and those with any known American connection had been queuing night and day, demanding, pleading for a visa and a ticket for a seat on the United States evacuation planes flying out of Ton Son Nhut Airport. Then on the morning of the 29th of April, North Vietnamese artillery began shelling the airport, and their forward commando units attacked the city's outer defenses. Newport Bridge, spanning the Saigon River on Highway 1, was the last the communists had to cross to enter the capital. We didn't know it then, but this was the last fight.